here that are commonly asked questions people have when they first sign up with us. So some of the items that we'll cover today, we'll be talking about, we'll be looking at some website examples, the layout of the website, uploading a new logo and photo, how to change website colors, uploading slider images. The sliders are those photos that are rotating through on the front page of your website, and tips for great online images. But I'm going to give you the opportunity right now. If you have specific questions about editing the design and branding of your page, feel free to go ahead and ask your question. The questions should be about design and branding, however. That's all we're covering today. So if you have questions about your billing, about how to fill out the IDX paperwork, things like that, you'll want to call in and get assistance individually for those types of issues. But if you have, again, general questions on how do I edit the look or the content on my site, that's what I'm looking for. So I will be quiet a moment. If there are no questions, it's fine. I will just proceed with the agenda that I have already laid out. All right, so only one question came in. How do you add your name to the home page? So when I show you in just a moment, I'm going to be in an area where we can edit the photo and logo and some of that. And that's where you also can edit some of that stuff. So I will show you how to do that, so it's a good question. So with that said, since that's the only question right now, I'm going to move forward here. So what you see out of the box does not have to be your final website design. So Property Pulse is very flexible. We can achieve many unique branded designs, and we'll give you the control to make those changes yourself. Now, if you are looking to make a Picasso out of your website, probably that will be at an added investment. But if you see something you like today, something like this, or like this, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, it is important to understand the layout of a Property Pulse website page as we begin to talk about design. The page can be divided up into major portions. There is the header, the page. The header contains a slider, which is those rotating photos. The sidebar is optional and can add a great deal of functionality by the addition of widgets. And the page contains the content in the body. So for nearly every page, you can control the content presented here. And during today's session, I do encourage you to ask questions as we go along. I do want to point out z57support.com. If you don't know this website, if you haven't been told about it, you should write it down. Everything I'm going to cover today is written down for you with pictures on how to actually do it right here in the Help Center. So the goal is to make sure that today you just learn the basics. I don't want you to remember every single detail. You probably aren't going to want to change every single thing I'm going to cover today. You may only want to edit one or two of these items. But the goal is just to give you some exposure to it. So you know that, oh, wow, I can change all these different things on my website. You'll have at least seen once how to do it. Then if you actually need to do it at some point down the road, you've got the Help Center, again, with the pictures on how to do it. You can live chat with us. You can call our 800 number. Now, also through this page, we've got the admin panel, this orange button right here. And when you click on it, it goes to where you log into the control panel. When you log in, you'll have to fill in your email address, and the password that we email to you. Unless you change the password already to something that you'll remember, then of course you put that password in. Now I happen to have Property Pulse open already, so I'm just going to pop it open. So once you log in, this is where you end up. So Property Pulse is the name of the admin panel, the tool that we provide to you. So anytime someone here says, hey, are you logged into Property Pulse, or could you log into Property Pulse, this is what they're talking about. Now from here, I'm going to hit View Website. It's going to pop the website up for me. So this is what we're starting with today. And as I scroll down a little bit, you'll get to see, more or less what it looks like now. And again, it will look very different when we're done. So first thing I want to do is change the logo and the realtor photo. So in Property Pulse, to do that, I'm going to go to the Profile button over here. So we can edit your profile. And I'll click on User Settings. And it's pretty easy to change this. So right here where it says Select Image, I'm going to click it. I'm going to go to My Pictures. And I'm going to click on this picture. And then where it says Select Image, same exact thing. And I got some pre-done images here. So let's see. I'm going to switch it to Century 21. There you go. And I'm going to save. So it's really no different than changing a picture, say, on your MLS. Now, a couple things. This is also where your contact information is. So normally what would go here would be your name, not your company name. So I think there was a question earlier, how do I get my name on the home page of the site? If you fill it in here, it should then put it on the home page for you. It's also where your phone number and your contact info is. So if at some point any of this information changes, maybe your phone number changes, you switch offices, you need to make sure you come back here and edit that. So it's all under, again, Profile and User Settings. Down here we've got, normally we'll have placed in here for you the top 5 cities or communities that you told us you work in. Double check them, make sure they're spelled correctly. Make sure they're the ones you definitely want. Sometimes people will change their mind later on. They want to get rid of one of them, just erase it and type in whatever you'd prefer. And this is also where you would change your password. Again, we email you a generic one to start with, but preferably you switch it to something that you're more inclined to remember. Now, the logo actually needs to be changed in 2 places. It controls different parts of the website where the logo displays. So I'm going to show you the other place to change the logo in just a moment when this is done saving. So this particular page tends to load a little slower than the other pages. So we'll just give it a moment. There it goes. All right. So the other place to change the logo, and really everything else I'm going to focus on today is going to be in this website section. I'm going to go down the left here. I'm going to go down to Appearance, and I get a few options here. I'm going to click on Theme Options. And Style Settings. So again, Website, Appearance, Theme Options, Style Settings. Again, it's all in the Resource Center, all written down for you with pictures. So again, don't worry too much about remembering every detail. You can see this is also where I'll be changing the colors. We'll come back to that in a second. I'm going to click on the logo right here. So again, the logo needs to be done in 2 places. This time when I add the logo, the one little difference is in this area, it does require me to fill in the dimensions of the logo I'm going to add. A lot of you are going to say, well, I don't know how to figure that out. It's actually fairly easy. I'll show you. If I go to Upload, go to the Pictures. When I hold my mouse over the picture, a little box pops up. It tells me the dimensions. This one's 126 by 170. Right, this one over here is going to be 224 by 224. So let me go in and grab the logo that I want here. I want Century 21. I already know my dimensions, so I'm just going to type them in. And I'm going to save. So let's take a look at what we've done so far. I'm going to just come right up here. We're going to refresh. Remember, we have this logo before and this photo. If we refresh, there we go. Now we got Century 21, and we've changed to a woman for the picture. So now as I look at it, I'm thinking maybe I want to change the colors now too. Right now the colors don't have to match the logo. When we build your site, for most of you, we probably have matched it to the colors of your logo, assuming you're using one of the standard logos where we know the color schemes already. If you have your own marketing that you do, and you have your own brand and your own colors that you use, great, you can use those colors. For today, I'm just going to match the company colors for simplicity's sake. So this area here can be changed. This whole white section could be a different color. The bottom could be different. The little borders and stripes could be different. The text could be different colors. So you've got a lot of variety there to change. And I do that here under Theme Options. You probably saw again a minute ago, this is also where the colors are. So Website, Appearance, Theme Options, Style Settings. But instead of the logo, I'm going to do the general color, the text color, the background color. So let's just start here. And there's just one field here I need to worry about regarding color. It's right here. To change the color, I can just click the color that's over here already, the blue, and I get a little color bar. So I can drag this thing around, so I could be red and purple and so on down the line here. So let's say I wanted red. I'll leave it there. Now there's this little thing, you can barely see, it's kind of chopped off. I'm going to pull it out here, this little circle. As I move this little circle around, you'll notice the color here will the shade will change, and these numbers down here will change. I'll talk about the numbers in a second, but just watch as I move it, those two things will change. So lighter red, darker red, more pinkish, and so forth. What the code down here does is when people build a website, programmers, they have to put in a color code in certain areas to tell the system, what color this website needs to be. That's all that is. Now, you don't need to know anything about coding. The reason we put it in there is you may decide that you want to use this exact same shade of red on multiple portions of the website. Instead of constantly having to drag this thing around and you can't quite match the same shade of red between them, you don't need to worry about it. If you go ahead and just, when I click on this, it'll save it. I got the code. You can just copy that code and use it multiple times. And you'll see me doing this in just a second. In this case, I'm going with Century 21, so I don't want red. Or kind of it's almost oranges at this point, but I'm going to type in the code for black. I happen to know what it is already, so I'm just going to type it in. It's an easy one. And I am going to copy it because I am going to use it in a couple different places. Okay, so I'm going to make that black, and I'm going to save on the bottom. Now, a lot of people have the question, well, what's all this stuff over here? So I'm not going to use this today, but you can have patterns and things in the background. It doesn't have to be just a solid color. So you can experiment with these, click on any one of them and save it and see what happens. For now, I'm going to leave that, but when I refresh, you're going to see the color change here. There we are. But the rest of it didn't change. So how do I change these other sections? I'm going to go to background colors. And let's see what I've got here. I've already pre-planned this, so I'm going to make these two black. Again, remember, I copied the code earlier, those 6 zeros. So you see how that makes things a little easier. Now this one is white. I know it's white because the color shows me right here. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave this one white also. But Century 21 doesn't have any red, so I'm going to put the gold in there. Again, I've done my homework. I know the color code already. So I'm just going to type it in. And then I'm going to copy it because I want it down here too. And save. Now there is some thinking put behind the way that I'm doing this. So the body background and the comments background color, they look a little nicer if they match each other. The lines and borders and the footer line, so all the little line colors throughout, if they match, they look nicer. And the footer background and footer copyright also looks a little nicer when they match each other. People are going to ask me, well, how do I know what's the body background? What's the lines and borders? You'll have to do a little bit of trial and error just to learn that. So the easiest way to figure it out is if you click this little thing right here, you could change the color to, let's say, purple, right? Save it, go to the website, refresh, and whatever becomes purple, that's the body background color. Just make a note of whatever code you had in there before so you can put it right back. And then try it on the next one. So a little experimentation. But if we come back, let's see what we've just done. So again, these are the areas I was controlling just now. There you go. So this is black now. All the lines and border colors are gold. I left this two sections here, this and this white. I can also change the text colors throughout, including the button text up here. So that'll be text colors. And let's see what I want to do here. Now, I've got the gold saved already. So I want this gold and this. I'm going to leave these bottom two whites, but I also want to make this one white. So I'm going to paste that. I'm going to make this black. You notice I'm leaving this one empty. The default color we use for this one is fine in most cases. You can change it if you want. What it controls is the text right here. Since I'm leaving the background white, I feel like that color is fine as it is, so I'm not changing it. But again, you could if you wanted to. So I'm going to save. And just like before, there's certain thinking behind the way I'm doing it. So the heading color, the header text color, the two header sections, I made them the same. Same thing with the two footer sections on the bottom. They're right next to each other. It looks nicer when they match each other. These other three colors, these three fields, I should say, could really be any color you want. They don't have to match any other specific field. But I'm sticking with just the three colors for Century 21, so that's why I picked those colors. So if we come back again, it's the text that I'm changing. So like this, for example, this writing. So let's refresh here. There we go. So we got some gold up here now. This was red before it's black, as was this. I left that the same, and I left the white writing down here the same. So just know if you're creative and you like getting into a lot of these different things, you have the opportunity to come back here and play around with that a little bit. Again, for most of you, we've probably tried to match the colors up with your company logo already, but again, you have that flexibility to change it up. Now, here, the sliders. You can edit those as well. If we come back, we're almost in the right section, actually. So under Website, Appearance and Theme Options, we're already here. Instead of Style Settings, I'm going to do Slider Settings. Now, I'm going to come over here. Let me just show you something. You see how that changed from one to the next? Here, let's do it. I'm just going to click on this to make it go faster. You see how it did that? So there's different ways you could have those slides. So there's different slider styles. That's what these are. I'm not going to go through each one of them. You can come back, try them out, see what they look like. I like the Nevo slider. It's the one that's already being used, so I'm going to click on that. Now, if you like the photos we gave you, of course you can leave them. We try to do regional photos, so we try to match a general area like Midwest or Northeast or South. But you may not, particularly want to use those photos. We have a pretty big library. I'm going to show you that as I scroll down on this page. I'm using this luxury set already. But then again, we do have Midwest here, mountain, maybe you live in Colorado or someplace like that. Now, if you see a set of photos you like, but you don't like one specific photo, maybe the lighthouse doesn't really reflect your area, you just hit the little X, it takes it out. Right? And then the rest of the photos, if you want to use them, you can. So I won't go through all the photos right now. You guys can always come back here and test them, see which ones you like. I'm going to go to the bottom. I want to show you how you could add your own photos if you wanted to. So down here it says Add New Nevo Slider. So I have to name it. So I'm going to call mine San Diego, since that's where I'm located. You can call it whatever you want. And I'm going to hit Add Slider. Now it puts it down here for me. I have to save it before I can add the pictures. All right, so again, the new set is going to be near the bottom, the newest one. So I'm going to go all the way down underneath the last picture, add image to San Diego. So we're going to add some pictures. So I'm going to go to Upload. I've already got some photos ready to go here, so I'm going to just pick a couple of them, give it a second to load, and then Add Image. It puts it in. After I hit Add Image, then I can do the next photo. Give it a second to load, add image, then I can do the next one. Right, you could have up to 15 photos. Probably it's not worth putting 15 photos in because people won't sit there and watch 15 photos rotating anyway. But I'd say 5 to 8 is a nice number, to give a good flavor of your area. I'm going to do just 2. I just need to have enough to have them slide. I am skipping these fields, but I'll explain what they do. So the image link, as the photos rotate, any one of the photos could link to a website. So for example, if I put in a picture of the San Diego Zoo, I could type in the web address, www.sandiegozoo.com, and as that photo rotates on the website, if I clicked on that zoo photo, it would go to the zoo website. Image description, maybe I don't want it to link to something. Maybe I just want a little box to pop up as I hover my mouse over the picture, telling people what it is a picture of. So you could just type in San Diego Zoo. And for people who are new to the area, unfamiliar, maybe that would be nice to be able to see that. Or you could leave them blank like I'm going to do, and that's fine as well. And I'm going to save. So you always have to save before you leave any of these pages. If you don't save, you're going to lose your work. Just like any other program, really. So that saved it. Now, when I did that, it didn't automatically put those San Diego photos on the home page of your website. Why? Well, the reason is the sliders are not exclusive to the home page. You could have a different set of sliders on every single page of your website if you wanted to. Now, it probably doesn't make sense to do that. It's a lot of effort, probably not a lot of reward. But you maybe in some occasions you might have a second page where you did want a separate set of photos rotating through depending on what that page is about, or a third page or what have you. So the system doesn't know where you want these San Diego photos, home page or someplace else. So I'm going to give it some direction. So under website, I'm going to leave the appearance section where we've been working. I'm just going to go up to pages. It says all pages. I'm going to click on it. It gives me the list. So I'm going to find the page I want to add the photos to. I want it on the home page. We don't call it the home page. We call it welcome. So these are alphabetized. So welcome is on the bottom. I'm going to hit edit. Now, we'll talk about editing text in a couple minutes. But if I scroll down a little bit, it says slider type, slider name. So I'm going to put in the slider that I want to utilize. So remember, there's a few different slider style types. I created mine under Nevo, which is already in there, so I'm just going to leave it. And then down here, I called it San Diego. So under the Nevo sliders, I got to go down and find San Diego. It's right here. And when I hit update, it will save that change. So now the Nevo slider for San Diego will be on the home page. So let's take a look. So these are the photos that were already there. When I refresh, there we are. Now, there's a couple things you actually need to know when you put the photos in the slider field. Specifically, you have to have certain dimensions. And you can see this is a very wide, photo, very rectangular, not very tall. So the dimensions, and you should make a note of them, it's 940 pixels wide. So 940 by 318 pixels tall. 940 by 318. Now, a lot of you are going to say, I don't know how to resize photos. And that's fine. There's a few options here. Now, of course, you can call us. We can assist you. But ultimately, it's nice to learn how to do it. You may want to change the photos frequently, or if you do other marketing, maybe you do a newsletter or a mailer or something else, and you have to add graphics periodically. It's nice to say, hey, I know how to resize these photos, and it's actually easy if you have the right software. So if you have software to resize photos already, great. If not, I am going to recommend a program to you that is free. I'm going to pull it over here, and it's called IrfanView. You see the spelling right here. So the website is irfanview.com. I'm going to make this a little smaller here. So irfanview.com. And if you were to go to that site, there would be a download button. It takes about 2 minutes to download it. Again, it doesn't cost anything. So we use it here all the time. And it's pretty easy to edit photos through here. So if I want to edit one, I've got to open it first. So I'll go to File and Open, just like most programs. Oh, let's see. We will go to computer. Somebody's been playing around in here. Let's go over here. There we go. Go to Pictures. All right. So I'm just going to grab her picture. There we go. If I wanted to resize this, I go to Image and Resize. And the dimensions are right here. I just change them. Now, with most photos, you'll actually want to check this little box. When you resize it, what it does is it keeps the proportion between width and height the same. So watch. When I change the width, just watch the height. It's going to change by itself. So you don't have to do any calculations there. In the case of the sliders, because they need to be those exact dimensions, 940 by 318, you don't want that box checked. Otherwise, every time you change the width, the height will change. Then when you go to change the height, the width will change again. Right? And it's just a comedy of errors. So I unchecked it, and you would type in 940 and 318. Now I'm going to leave her picture as is, but when I hit OK, you will see it will shrink a little bit because I did change those numbers. There you go. So relatively easy. I mean, if I wasn't explaining how to do it, that would have taken me maybe 20 seconds to do that. Maybe not even that much. Now the one thing is because the dimensions are so wide and not so tall, sometimes you'll distort your photo when you resize it. If that happens, you may need to crop the photo, things like that. Then just call us, and we'll help you do it. You can crop photos through IrfanView as well. It's actually easier in some ways to crop than it is to resize, but we don't want to get too sidetracked spending all of our time editing photos. So if it comes down to it, let us know. But again, it's a good resource, not just for our website, but for any time you need to edit photos. So I use it at home sometimes too. So I'm going to close that. Another question people have is regarding photos. They don't like any of our photos. They don't have any photos of their own that they want to use. It doesn't come up that often. Usually people will have some. But if that's the case and you need a resource to get photos, I'm going to give you a few suggestions. Let me start with what you cannot do, which is simply go to Google, type in San Diego or wherever you live, and just start grabbing the photos that you find. The reason is they're often taken by professional photographers, and they have copyrights, and they can sue you. So we don't want to get into that problem. So I'm going to recommend two sites. This first one is a site where you could buy photos. Again, ultimately, preferably you use your own photos, but it's an option. It's called iStockPhoto. So you see the spelling in the URL up here. It's the letter I, the word stock, the word photo.com. You would type in what you're looking for, like San Diego, for example. They have a pretty big library. So you can see the types of, they have a lot of kinds of little photos that you can do for all kinds of different things. They work well for marketing. So again, this website will charge. There is another website that I would suggest trying first because it's free. It's called morguefile.com. Pay no attention to the name. It does not relate to the type of photo you will find. Free photo archive, no charge, no copyright issues, so it's public domain. You just type in what you want, like San Diego, and see if they have pictures. Now for big cities like San Diego, they will. Their inventory here on Morguefile, it's not huge, so they probably won't have, if you're not in a major city, probably won't have your specific city, but they may have photos of things that look like your area, like mountains, or beach and palm trees. or lakes or forest or farmland or flowers, as you see here. So you can use those photos until you have a chance maybe to take some photos of your own. So it's a great resource for any marketing that you do. If you just need some stock photos, it's a place to go. Now, for many of you, website design is not your forte. You want us to take care of it all for you. Just let us know. We can always arrange a design review meeting to go over various options. Anything that can be done through the control panel, the things I'm showing you today, we'll show you how to do it individually in that case. If it's something more advanced where our graphic designers have to go in there and construct something, put something together, do some design work for you, like this one, for example, was custom done, then there may be a minimal investment involved in making those changes. So, quick review. What have we covered already? So we talked about calling in for help, colors, agent to photo and logo, and those slider images. Some other commonly asked questions. How do I edit text on my pages? How do I add a custom page, including text and photos and videos? How do I add lead capture form to my pages? Sidebars and widgets. If you don't know what I mean by that, you'll learn when we're done. And editing the navigation menus. So I'm going to cover some of those items. I am going to take another pause here. I'm going to give you another chance. If you had a question and I haven't answered it already, it doesn't look like it's on that agenda, feel free to ask it. For those of you that came later, I did mention at the very beginning that we're only looking for questions on how to edit the design, the content on your page. If you have questions about your billing or your IDX paperwork or things like that, you'll need to call in individually, and we'll support you in regards to those questions. So I'll be quiet a moment. I'll give you a chance. If there are no questions, it's fine. I'll be back to start with the agenda I laid out a moment ago. All right, no new questions came in. If some come in while I'm talking, we'll make sure that we address them. So in the meantime, just to keep things moving forward here, I'm going to take us back to Property Pulse here. Let's talk about editing text on various pages. Now, I happen to be in the right section already, but I'm going to remind you how I got here. So under Website, Pages, All Pages. Again, this will list for me every page on your website. So whichever page I want to edit, I just put my mouse over it. I'm going to pick this one. And it says Edit. I'll click on Edit. All right, well, it's taking a moment here, so we'll just give it a second. There it is, perfect. Now, whatever I want to name the page, well, actually, I'm jumping a little bit ahead of myself. Let me come back here. If I want to edit the text on one of these pages, it's very simple. You just delete what you don't want. You type in what you do. Right? So it's just simply editing, like editing a Microsoft Word document. Right? And then when you're done, you hit Update. Now, people will ask me sometimes, what's this? What's this stuff down here? So we put in a little bit of coding in the back end here so that when on the website, it'll pre-fill this information, like your name and your designations, et cetera, will show on there, not agent name, right? And up here it says agent and city, whatever you told us was your #1 city. So San Diego for me is what we would put in there. Now you could change it. Maybe you don't want to have just one city. Maybe you want to list a few. Then you can erase the code. You don't need it. You're not going to damage anything. Just erase it and then manually type in the cities or whatever you want to say instead. Again, update saves it. Now, you may want to do some other stuff. Maybe you want to put a picture within the body of the page versus in the sliders. Maybe a picture of something related to whatever the subject matter is. Or a video. Maybe you want to do that. So I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you, though, in the context of creating a custom page. Since that's a question people often, how do I create my own pages? So under Website, Pages, I'm going to click Add New. I want to add a new page. Now, if I come back here, whatever I want to name the button, like Listing, Home Search, Our Community, that needs to go in this field here. So I'm going to call this Testimonials. And if testimonials, I would assume they're pre-written. You can just copy and paste them in here. If you're creating a page that's not related to testimonials, you're writing something from scratch, just start typing. Right? It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to just put in a fake one here. There we go. So there's the testimonial I got. And so looking it over, maybe I want to put a picture of the couple that gave me that testimonial. So I'll put my mouse wherever I want the picture to show up. I'd like it to be to the left of the text. So I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to hit Add Media. A photo is a form of media. That's going to start by going to the media library. What the library is every photo you've ever put on your website. So mostly for most of you guys, it's going to be primarily listing photos. But in the case of this testimonial, maybe you took a photo of the couple in front of their brand new house and you saved it on your desktop, but it's not on your website. So you won't be able to pull it from this media library. You'll go to Upload Files, select Files, and it'll go to your computer. You just go to your pictures and grab the picture you want to use. Now in this case, I've done this appointment a few times, so I actually have the photos already saved in my media library, so I'm going to click that. And I'm going to use this photo here. So I'm going to click on it and insert into page. And there it is. Now I might think that it's a little larger than I want, taking up a big chunk of the page here. Maybe I don't want it so big. I can shrink the photo within this page. If I simply click on it, I get two little buttons here. This one's Delete. This one is Edit. So I want to edit it, so I'll click it. Now I could do a few things besides just resizing it. So I'll show you a few little things here. So the way the text shows in relation to the photo. Right now none is selected, but I could click left and have it look like that. Or center. Or right. I like left, so I'm going to use that. To resize it, where it says Advanced Settings, I'm going to click that. Just like on UrfanView, you got the dimensions right here, right? Now, where UrfanView had that little box you could check mark to keep the proportion the same between width and height, this doesn't have that. So it may be better to resize it in UrfanView first and then put it in. But if you didn't do that, it's fine. It just means you have to do the calculation in your head. So if you want this 30% smaller, then this should be 30% smaller. Right? Proportion that stays the same. So I'm going to make it 50% smaller. It's just a little easier to calculate here. Oops. All right. One other item here. The way the text shows here, so you can't tell here, but sometimes it'll bleed into the picture a little bit. Needs a little margin. So down here where it says vertical and horizontal, I like a margin of 5. It doesn't have to be 5, but that's what I like. And when I hit update, you're going to see the picture will shrink. There we are. And then I'm going to go ahead and publish. You notice it said publish that time instead of update. The reason for that is when it's a brand new page, we're publishing it. It's the save button regardless. You see now it's changed to update because we made the first initial save after it's published. So just remember the blue button is save. So I added that. Now maybe I want to add a video of some sort in here. Well, we could do that. First thing you ought to do, though, is add the video to YouTube. It's free to do that. It's fairly easy to add it. So I'm going to go to YouTube. All right, so what do we got here today? So we're going to, I like to do just funny real estate. And I'm going to grab this one from Ellen. Oh, I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to pause it once she starts talking so it doesn't distract us. Okay, there we go. And if I want to share this, I'm going to click Share right here. And YouTube gives me this little URL right down here. I'm going to copy that. I come back. Wherever I want the video to display, I'm going to put it down here, is where I paste that in. So right-click and paste. Now, it looks like a little link here, but in a moment after I save it, you're going to see it is actually the video. So I hit Update here. All right, so now when I go to view this page, you're going to see the video will pop up here. So there we are. So it's actually relatively easy to do that. So a quick refresher on that. So you put it on YouTube first. Once you find it on YouTube, you hit Share. You copy. You paste it wherever you want it. You update. So you don't have to be super technical. You just have to know how to copy and paste. So once it's on YouTube, and maybe it takes you 2-3 minutes to put it on YouTube. Once it's on there, it takes about a minute to copy, not even to copy and paste it over. So it makes you start to look like you're a bit of a web designer here without having to be too technical. So I'm going to close that. What's this here? Okay, I'm going to leave that one open. So a couple other little items here regarding the custom page. So on any of the pages, really, if you want to add a lead capture form, you just click on right here, and then you update. So what that does is on any page where you turn it on, if someone was to click on the page, before the page fully loads, it'll ask for their name and email and an optional phone number before they can access that content. So get you the lead. You're not going to want to do it on every page, but there may be a few pages that have highly desirable information, like the home search, for example, where that lead capture form is nice to have. For this page, I'm just going to leave it off. Now, when you create a custom page, it doesn't automatically just pop up on the website. The reason being, we don't know where you want it. Do I want testimonials to be the first button? The last button? Do I want it to be a drop-down like one of these guys? Right? We have no way of knowing that. You've got to tell us. So if I come back, the way I control that is under website. I'm going to leave pages. I'm going to go back where I was earlier under appearance. And if you remember, under theme options, I did the logo, the colors, the slider photos. This time I'm editing the menus, so I think if you look at the options here, it's pretty straightforward. We'll click on that. All right, so these are the ones that are already on the website. Now the ones that are indented, they're the drop-down ones, these guys. All right, so they're indented under home search, for example. You don't see testimonials here, right? It's not on the website yet. It's right here. So I'm going to check this little box and add to menu. And there it is. Now, right now it's in the last spot. I maybe don't want it to show up there. I would like it to be as a drop-down under our community. So I just click on it, hold my mouse down, just pull it up. There we go. Make sure it's indented like that. Perfect. And then when I save it, that'll put it in for me. So we'll give it a second here. There we go. If I come back up, wasn't there before. Now I will refresh. And there it is. So just remember, if you create a custom page, it doesn't just pop up on the website. You got to just simply go under Website to Appearance, Menus, check the box and add it, drag it where you want it, and save it. Again, all in the Resource Center, all written down for you with screenshots on how to do all this stuff. Right? So again, don't worry about remembering it all. I just want you to get a general idea of what's possible. The other thing I want to talk about is widgets. So what do I mean by widgets? So if I scroll down here, we call the whole section here the sidebar. Within the sidebar, we've got individual widgets. So this one goes to your Facebook business page. If you have other social media like Twitter or LinkedIn, we could add additional widgets here. Or not really just all one widget, but additional links. And then the featured property, that's another widget. So it rotates through your listings on your web page. I have just one on my website, my sample here. So, but if there was multiple, it would rotate them. I could add more widgets. I could remove widgets. How do I control the widgets? So under website, appearance, there we are, widgets. Now, these are all the widgets that are possible. I'm not going to go through all of these. Right? We don't have the time to go through every widget, but you can always try them out and experiment with them, see what they do. And every single page could have a different set of widgets if you wanted to. It's not just for the home page. But I'm just going to focus on the home page. So over here where it says home page, I want to edit those widgets. I'm going to hit the drop down. These are the two I just showed you, that Facebook one and that featured property. If I want to add, let's say, contact me, I'm just going to click it, drag it over. It saves itself. When I come back, we didn't have it before. When we refresh, there it is. Contact me. I could have made it the first widget if I wanted to, or however you want to lay it out. Just change the order, right? Just drag it up. If I want to remove it, I hit the drop down and delete. Takes it out, but it's still over here. If I want to bring it back later, I can always bring it back. So those are the widgets. And that's really the gist of what I had for today. So I'm going to come back here to the Resource Center real quick. Again, as a reminder, in the Help Center is where all the written instructions with pictures are located. Also where you can log into your admin panel. It's also where you can sign up for additional webcasts. So we got a website series for the website, the social series for Facebook. Some of the webinars will appear in both categories because they can apply to both categories. So if I click on the social series, the webinar we're doing today is called Ask the Expert, but it's for the website series. It's an hour long. All the other webinars are half an hour long. This one is also called Ask the Expert, but it's in the social series. So what it's about is Facebook. How do I edit the look, the cover image, the content on my Facebook page? Again, it's 30 minutes. Some of the other webinars, what do we cover? So setting up for success is a great orientation, right? What to expect from our program, a little bit of a tour of a few different things I didn't talk about today. Just a nice overview, what to expect from us, what we expect of you. And so it's a good starter, after today's. Engaging your book of business. We'll import your contacts into your website control panel, Property Pulse. From there, we have pre-written emails you can send out to your contacts to maintain contact. We've got the ability for you to email postcards of your listings, so they're email postcards, to keep in touch with people. So you want to make sure you're working your database, maintaining contact with them. So we show you how to use that tool through engaging your book of business. Growing your fan bases. What should I be posting on Facebook? Now, we post a lot of things for you already. But you still want to engage with your page a little bit yourself, right? It shouldn't be all automated. You need to come in there, engage with your audience. So we'll talk about what you could post in addition to what we post for you. Promoting your online presence is your offline marketing. If you do mailers, if you do flyers, business cards, any marketing that you do, how can I tie my website and Facebook effectively into that marketing? Talk about writing a good call to action on your marketing pieces to drive that traffic. We talk about QR codes. If you don't know what they are, you'll learn, but they deal with social media tools, mobile tools like your cell phone, right, your smartphone. Ties into marketing through there. So that's important. Selling with Facebook. How do I get more visitors, more leads, more likes on my Facebook business page? That's what that webinar is about. 5 secrets to lead conversion. How do I convert these leads? Right? Internet leads are different than your open house lead or the person that calls your office. Right? People start on the Internet. It's day one, so they're sometimes a little further out from their decision point. So you've got to follow up with them a little differently so that you don't lose them. So we'll give you 5 suggestions on how to make sure that you do that effectively. So I would sign up for the webinars. Again, we have some in the website series too. But I would sign up for the webinars over time, right? You're not going to do them all in a week. So it might be a month or 2 before you finish each one. Again, they're half hour. Go through them, learn that skill set, move on to the next one, learn that next skill set. I think a lot of people have been unsuccessful on the Internet, right? They've had 4 or 5 or more websites. And the reason why is that it hasn't, they really, you're not sure what to do with it once you get it. That's what we're trying to teach you guys. And we want this to be your last website, the one that works for you. And you just need to know a little bit of this, a little bit of that to learn those things. It seems like a lot of material, but if you actually go through it and you execute on the things we're teaching you in those courses, you'll spend about 10 minutes a day working our program. So you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours online. So someone's asking me how did I get to this page. So in the Resource Center, so z57support.com takes you here. And then you just click on either the Social Series webcast or the Website Series webcast. And you'll end up here. Now to sign up, you just click on one of them. Oh, there we go. Some August dates finally popped in here. So you would look at the dates and times. Times are all Pacific. So when it says 10 o'clock Pacific, if you're on the East Coast, that is a 1 o'clock webinar. So make sure you do that calculation. It's not preset to your time zone. So whatever time zone you're in, do the calculation. So I highly encourage you to go through the different webinars over time, right? Learn some of these techniques. You'll get a lot out of it. And if you need additional assistance, we've got our 800 number. You can live chat with us. So remember, and you've got the Resource Center again, that Help Center with the written instructions. So you're not on your own. You have a team here to support you guys. Let us know what you need as you need it. And I thank you for your time today. I thank you for the questions that we did have. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Bye for now.